I'm going to let you in on some inside baseball right now. There are some days where I'm not quite sure what intro to lead with. You got to find something that's a little piffy, that has some relevance to the topics of this show. And some days I have a number of topics or leads that I can do. And this is one of those days. I have a few different things that are just funny, from bats flying right next to my head to this impeachment crap that's going on. But absolutely amazing. Oh, that is absolutely amazing. So it takes my breath away. You talk about the gravity of the situation, where we are at. Not that impeachment is the thing that is destroying us. It's just the evidence of what is destroying us. It's much deeper than impeachment. That's neither here nor there. But I did want to say this. There's sometimes in my podcasting career, we're at 332 episodes now, that even on 331, this episode with Keith Darrell, that I can do something like screw up the audio. Now, granted, I was not using the normal setup I have because we were sitting on my couch. I had the two mics on. But for the first 18 minutes, the sound was awful. And I don't even know why. I tested it. I promise you I did. I care. I try. But the last 18 to 20 minutes are fantastic, the sound-wise. The whole interview is fantastic. And I say that to say this. If you didn't see yesterday's show with Keith Darrell, I highly, highly encourage it. We talk about the career of a campus preacher, what it entails. Maybe some of you feel called to do that. And even if you are not called to do that and have no desire to be preaching on campuses, I can't blame you. We talk about the gospel and how to be an example and how to overcome the misconceptions that we have to proclaim that Jesus is Lord in our workplace. It seems up front like it has nothing to do with business, but I assure you it does. And it is very important for every single Christian to understand and know the things that we talked about. So I really encourage you to tough out those first few minutes and then and then watch it all the way through, because it's really great. One of the things too I wanted to bring up again, if you did not want to listen to that whole thing, is that Keith Darrell needs some money. He is basically a missionary. That's how he acts in his role. And he needs $5,000 before the end of the year. So prayerfully consider supporting him. If you can go to the last show and look in the show notes to see what website you can go to his website, and just prayerfully consider supporting him and supporting the brother, our brother. But I need to tell you now about the Fight, Laugh, Feast Network. Got some more mug reviews. Some mug reviews. You don't review a mug, do you? We got some more memberships, and I sent out some more mugs. Thank you for all of you guys who have signed up. You get this month free, and you get this mug, and you get everything else that the network provides. Let me tell you, there is no better value out there, and you will be supporting a Christian network that's proclaiming the lordship of Jesus in every area of life. No, we're not proclaiming federal vision that some people think that this whole network does, which is really weird to me. But we are proclaiming the lordship of Jesus. So pray about giving this as a gift, giving it a gift for yourself. Get this month free, you get a mug, and you got tons of other great benefits. Go over to fightlaughfeast.com, fightlaughfeastnetwork.com as well, or either or. And then put that HTBT drop down on the subscription page, and you will get that great mug. If you have any questions, comments, you want to reach out to me, Matt@howtobuildatent.com. You can find me on all the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. Really appreciate it. Now, I am going to talk about politics, but I didn't want to talk about politics, but I didn't want to talk about this specific thing, the impeachment, but this is just kind of funny. Al Green, before I was recording this, came on, and he had this picture of this little girl looking up and crying, and it like triggered something in my mind that was thinking, isn't that something that was like defrauded, where it didn't happen under the Trump presidency, or it was like some girls got, or candy taken away or something? It wasn't regarding what exactly they were accusing Trump for. And Al Green is using a picture that was a Time magazine cover that turned out to be fake news that was pushed to impeach Trump. And it's just absolutely amazing that these Democrats will continue to use lies to achieve their agenda. And that's what I kind of wanted to hit at today. And I know some of you may be asking, and at least I think sometimes you guys ask me this while you're listening. I can't hear you because you don't have a mic. Why are you talking about politics? This show's about business. It's about entrepreneurship. It's about success. Why are you talking about politics? I don't care about politics. I want to listen to other people about politics. Fair. The reason I talk about politics on this show is because politics infiltrate and impact every single thing in our lives. Politics is a battle for power, and the power is over you. And just as religion impacts every aspect of your life, so does politics. Whether you worship the God or a false God will determine how you act. It will determine how you behave. And it has implications that go on and go on. And so I want to say the reason I talk about political things is, one, it fascinates me. But two, is it does impact your business. It does impact your paycheck. Look at those taxes. Look at those deductions. It does impact your optimistic views of the future. That is, will you invest? Do you feel like you can start a company? Do you think there is a chance for you to be successful? Do you think it's even worth the risk? Entrepreneurship is taking business risks to achieve a reward. And the more that reward is shrunk down, cut in half, the less risk you're going to take. And the worse off our society is. This country was founded on private property and the risk of leveraging that private property, not just land, intellectual property, your business, the value you create with your hands. Our country was founded on the idea that we will take risks to better ourselves, to provide greater value to our society, which creates more wealth, not just for us, but for those around us. We vilify the rich. We demonize profits. We make enemies out of billionaires like Steve Jobs. But you know what Steve Jobs did besides get rich? He gave us an iPhone. Aren't you glad you have an iPhone? Aren't you glad you have a touchscreen? Whoever is the leader of Samsung and the Android, if you're an Android person, aren't you glad these rich people made products to create profits so that you could have this technology? Aren't you glad there are people that took risks to build cameras that you could see? Well, maybe you aren't glad about that. To see my face. Microphones to hear our sound, to hear our voices on this network, computers, the internet. Our country was founded on this. And that is why bankruptcy laws have been so important. And from the beginning of time, the country, the legal system, the bankruptcy laws were created in a sense, in a way that we could take risks. And if we failed, our lives would not be over. That we wouldn't be in debt for the rest of our lives. That we wouldn't have to resort to indentured servitude, slavery, or all those things, but that we could get back up and try again. Our country is founded on that. Politics are important. Gosh, I'm almost 10 minutes in. Haven't even started on the first bullet point. Politics matters. There's this lady, Andi Loveall. She is a writer, and she just lost her job because of politics right before Christmas. She just lost her job because of politics. You don't believe me? Listen to this tweet from her. It's at ms_miss Andi Loveall. ANDILOVEALL. Andi with an I, love all. Miss_Andi Loveall. You can check this yourself. She tweeted this: just lost my ability to earn a living because of California Assembly Bill number 5. My freelance brokerage company says they have to let California authors go. And then she has a cries emoji. Almost a decade of hard work gone in an instant. I can't stop crying. Right before Christmas, period. #AB5. Just personalize this. Why do I talk about politics? Because it impacts us. It enslaves us. It can destroy us. This woman, who from what I understand, she's a liberal. She's written for like Vice and these liberal publications from what I've heard. A decade of work. Her career's over. She has to move. She's moving out of state. She's got to find another job because the dictators, the progressive, socialist, liberal Democrats in California, there's no other kind of politician in California. The people that run that state are the progressive liberals that care for the poor, but every single freelancer is going to lose their job, or most of them are going to lose their job and have to move or change professions because they thought they knew best. They thought they could tell companies how to handle the people that work for them, that they have the right ideas. And because of that, people are losing a decade worth of work, pouring in. Just imagine pouring in blood, sweat, and tears, building a business, dealing with risk, dealing with sweat, not understanding if you're going to be able to pull off this next month of payroll, that you're not going to be able to provide for your family. And yet you do it. You just inch it out and you slowly start building momentum. And you're in 3 years in, 4 years in, and you're saying, I'm doing it. I'm starting to make a living. And then in one legislative session, politics ends your career. It goes into effect January 1st. So she's laid off right before Christmas. Why do I talk about politics? Because it's a struggle for power over your life, over your business, over your private property. That is the money you make off of your value you provide. She lost her ability to make a living. See, this bill wasn't targeted at her, but it took her out. It got her. This bill was targeted to the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world that didn't play by the rules. They didn't support the unions, the taxi cab unions. They figured out things. They worked around the laws to build up their companies. They found the loopholes. My son, he is around 1.5 years old. I asked him if I could share this story, and he said, "Argh." So I'm assuming that's yes. When I tell him don't touch something, in Spanish, no toques, because I'm trying to teach him Spanish and English. When I say no toques, he knows not to touch something with his hands. He knows it. So sometimes he tries to work his way around the law. And he'll grab something, maybe like this tripod, and he'll touch it with the tripod. At 1.5 years old, he understands what not to do and is thinking about ways to get around the law. And that's what Uber did. That's what Lyft did. They thought of ways to get around the legal requirements of taxis. And the state doesn't like it for him. Doesn't like that. Just like we talk about Donald Trump. He didn't play by the rules. He didn't go up the right channels. He's not one of them. Just like AD talked about on his show, Doug Wilson didn't go to seminary. He's not one of them. And people hate him for it. And so these dictators in California passed a law that said, we know what's best for you, freelancers, you Uber drivers, you Lyft drivers, you notaries, whatever it is. We know what's best for you, and we're going to give it to you. And we're going to take it from the companies. We're going to make the companies treat you fair. We're going to make those rich guys pay. We're going to make those big businesses pay. Well, you know what it did? It took this lady's 10-year freelance career and threw it in the garbage. And now she is moving out of state for it. This is one story. Now, ask yourself, what if this happened to you? What if you just lost your job before Christmas? And the only way you can survive, because your skills, because of your career has been in freelancing, it's a great career, the only way you could do it is if you moved. Imagine having to make life-changing decisions after a decade before Christmas and having to move out of state. It's tragic. And I bring up politics, not just because I enjoy it, I do, but it's because I want you to remember that it matters and that you need to be engaged. You need to be involved. You can't be passive. You can't be apathetic, because as you are picturing this woman's circumstances, as you are picturing that and applying it to your life and seeing, what if that happened to me? It can. I had an episode a couple before that said no one is safe. And I was referring to the disruption of technology, and that the technology can disrupt anybody in any industry at any time. And I was referring to Lyft moving into the rental car business. The same thing can be true about politics. One law, one regulation can wipe you out. And if you don't pay attention, and if you aren't engaged, and if you aren't building up capital to influence the people that matter, AB 5, or I should say AB 6 might be coming at you next. AB 7 might target your business you work for. AB 8 might make you move out of state. How many of these laws is Californians going to take before they take back rule? How long, how many examples do you have to hear before you get involved? This is one of the reasons we need to be successful as Christians, because we have freedom. We know what it looks like, and we need to share it with the world. We need to fight back. We need to hold up the standard. We need to be a voice of reason. We need to be influencers that we can proclaim what true freedom looks like. And we can stop the madness of these governments destroying us as communities, destroying our wealth as a civilization, destroying our standards, destroying our businesses, destroying our capital gains through tax rate increases, destroying our property rights, property taxes, leveling our careers through bills like AB 5. This is so important. This isn't just a great topic to talk about. This isn't just a hobby of mine. This impacts every single one of us. And we better wake up. We better get involved, or the next AB bill might come for you. Let's go out and be successful. We'll talk to you tomorrow.